Hello everybody. In this video we're gonna talk about one nice feature in Aspen Plus, and it's a very useful feature, especially for those who want to do something more after finishing the simulation. By this I mean using this data in doing something else, or to make a report or whatever thing that you want to do. So you want a means of exporting the data that you have so that you can use them somewhere else. Um, and to do this, we will check different types of data exporting and data showing in Aspen Plus, which is useful in many senses depending on what you want to do. So the first thing, which is the result summary. Here you can see just this is a quick summary of the status of the run. If there are any issues with the simulation, any problems, we'll see them here. And here it gives you just a quick summary that everything was done normally, that there are no warnings, there are no errors, and everything was done in this date, and that's all. Which is the run status. When we go to the streams, it's gonna give you a list of all the streams that you have, with all the data that are available for all of them. Here we have 12 streams, which are the streams that we have here. I think there are 12. I think 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there are 12. It's like what we did for the stream results for a blog, but this is for the whole flow sheet, and it's very useful because it tells you exactly where each stream is coming from and where it's going to. These are the feed streams, so there have no from thing here, and these are the product streams, so there are no to here. So this is like quite useful, and it has everything. You can have some sort of flexibility on in the sense of displaying the or the kind of data that you can display in the output. For instance, you have the option to display only mole fractions, no mass fractions. So this mass fraction is gonna disappear now. It takes kind of little bit of time, and the same for the mass flows. If you are interested only in mole flows, then this is something that you can definitely do. You can have more control on these by going through these options. You can choose to not display enthalpies, to not display solid fractions, to not display densities. It's up to you. I'm gonna do this just for the sake of demonstration. There are other options here that you can play with regarding the display options, like everything. So I'm gonna click OK now because this is what I'm interested in now. So you see that the list of information is way less than it was before, because I chose to display only these. So it's very useful to have this list of things here, and sometimes people like to display this as part of the flow sheet. So you have the option to send it to the flow sheet, and by doing this, it's gonna create a table in the same place where the flow sheet is. I'm sorry. And here you can see. I personally do not like this because it makes the flow sheet very large, and the ability to see everything in one place is difficult. So you have to zoom in so that you can see the stream names, and then you have to go back and forth to see what's going on here, and where is this stream in the flow sheet. But the point is that sometimes you might need to print the flow sheet with the streams in the same sheet or on the same page. So it's helpful in this case. There is another alternative that I personally believe is more useful, especially that you're not interested in most cases, you're not interested in all these data in this table. You are interested, for instance, in our case, in the flow rate, in the temperature, in the pressure. For instance, if these are my interest, then you can I'm sorry, you can choose to display these in in the or on each stream. So for instance, if I click on the temperature, it's gonna display a temperature of each stream. I know it's 127, I know this is 128, I know this is 75. The same for the pressure. And here there is a legend that kind of tells you that the temperature is in an oval shaped or a circular shaped icon, and the temperature in a hexagonal shaped icon. You can display the molar flow rate. So these information are already displayed, and they will be updated if you do any change to the inputs according to the new values that will be produced after the run. So I personally think that this is a better way, but there are two options that you can use depending on which one suits you better. Um, I'm gonna remove them now, and we will go back to the stream results and see another option which I personally prefer and I use a lot, which is the send to Excel or ASW. By sending to Excel, you mean that you are exporting all this data to an Excel file. Of course, you can copy and paste, but copying and pasting might not be the best way. There might be some errors. Might be some cells that are merged. Some of these options are not expanded, so you cannot see the output of these. There are many things that would happen. So I personally prefer to go for the software itself, so it can export it in a better way. And here it gives you an option to choose the shape of the table, whatever shape that you like, you can pick. And then you can choose to add it to an existing workbook if you're interested. Anyways, I'm gonna export it now, and it's gonna ask me where I want to save the file and what is the name. So I'm gonna say absorption 2, and it's now exporting. So this bar represents the overall exporting of a single sheet, and this is the whole file. So now it's done. I'm asking it to open the file for me, and we can see this is the Excel file. You see it's the same format that I requested. You have all the streams here, all the information. And again, this might be kind of confusing because there are a lot of information here, but you have the option to delete any or to not display any one of these, or the data that you're not interested in, or just to keep the information that you are interested in. So this is something that you can definitely do, and it's very simple, and it gives you a lot of flexibility when dealing with the exporting of the data. So this is the first thing about the results exporting and displaying. There is one other thing, which is the models, and I personally believe this is one nice thing here, which is the a summary. It displays a summary of the outputs that you have regarding the blocks. It's not the stream. So the previous thing that we did was about the streams and the details of the streams. Here we are talking about the details of the units. So here they are grouped according to their type. So in the model palette, you see there are heaters, there are heat exchangers, there are whatever. So for this displays all the heaters. It gives information about the duties and like simple information about the temperature and pressure. In heat exchanger, it gives more information about the cold stream temperature in and out, and the hot stream temperature in and out. It gives you information about the duty, about the heat exchanger area that you need, the U design, the U multiplied by A, the LMTD, a lot of information that are very, very useful. The same for the separator, which is the membrane separator that we mentioned, which is the component splitter, the true type of the unit. For the pump, the same thing about the NPSH, the discharge pressure, the amount of electricity, the power. For the red frac, you can see that it's displaying two columns because the absorber and stripper are both red frac columns. And it's giving you information about the temperature and flow rate of the bottoms and the top products, and the temperature of the boilers, and the flow rates and everything, and the boil up ratios. So you have everything here. Same for the mixer and same for the design spec. Again, you can export it to an Excel file, so that you can use this data somewhere else, and it's gonna give you the same thing, what you want to display, everything you can have here. You can display any, or choose to display or not to display, whatever you want. Again, I'm gonna export it, and here I'm gonna make it summary 2, and it's now exported. And you see it's exporting sheet by sheet, because in this case each one of these is put in a separate sheet. So this is why you can see that it's kind of different from what we saw before. um, and again, I just forgot to mention this. This is what it does, because this is the option that I had chosen, the default option. I'm gonna do it one more time. You can put it as one table per Excel worksheet, or all tables in one Excel worksheet. So let's take a look at the Excel file, and you see that this is a sheet for the heater, this is a sheet for the exchanger, this is a sheet for everyone. And this makes more sense, because in this case I have different units, and each unit has different type of inputs and outputs. So it's not like the streams are all the same. They have the same properties, depending on the just the stream name, or the data are different, but the titles are the same. Here the titles are different, but you can have the option to put all tables in one Excel sheet, and it's gonna be like spacing between tables. You can choose to make these to make these horizontal or vertical. So it's gonna be the same, with the difference of having all the data, or all the tables stacked in one sheet. So I'm gonna call it summary 3, just to see the difference. So I'm now opening the Excel file and waiting to see what is the output. Um, so here it is. It's the same, but they're all in one table, or in one sheet, instead of having them in different sheets, as I did before. Anyway, so this is like a nice thing here. Um, I no the next thing or the last thing that I want to talk about is the rest of the outputs that you can get. So you have here in this summary the model summary gives you the part that we just mentioned. The stream summary gives you the stream results, which we just mentioned here. You can either get them from here or from there. This is the same thing, but you have other options here that I personally do not use, but they might be useful for anybody else. So I'm just gonna quickly mention what they do. So here it gives you a summary of the inputs, which is what you did for each one of the streams, and what kind of input, and what are the values that you put for the temperatures, for the pressures, for the mass fractions. Whatever the inputs that you did, or you added, are displayed here. Um, again, being in a WordPad or Notepad format or text format is not the best option, at least for me. I don't feel like very comfortable working with it, but again, it might be helpful for somebody else. For the history, it gives you, and this kind of amazes me, that the software saves everything that you do in a timely manner. So it tells you exactly that when did you do this run, and when did you change the inputs, and when you change the inputs in this time, what happened, and the sensitivity analysis was done this time, the calculations began at this time. And so it's amazing. But I do not see why we need this, but it's available for you to use if you want to. Finally, this report, it's the same thing. It can be report for like the balance, for the blocks, for the conversion, for the measurements, for anything. But I'm gonna do it for all. Again, it's a Word file, or a text file. It has table of contents showing the control sections and the description of the sections and the connectivity of the streams and the blocks and the sign specs and the solvers. Everything is put in details here, and all the informations are put here. Um, so it might be useful again for some people. But anyways, I just wanted to give a summary of, or like an overview of the kind of summaries that you can have when dealing with Aspen Plus, and how to export the data to use them somewhere else. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video.